Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I know my dog likes bologna, though. My dog is an Oscar Mayer wiener. I just want to thank Red Bull for sponsoring today's episode. If you are thirsty, you know, there's water, there's like all these other beverages, but Red Bull is like one of them you can select. And if you do, you'll find that it tastes pretty darn good and it makes you feel pretty darn good. It's kind of like getting high, but like, you know, your mom's there, you know. It's like getting high, but like not really high. But my idea for Red Bull is this: to take advertising to the next level. Like, you know how they have their own like they have their own like cartoon world that the Red Bull image lives in. You know, it's kind of like that Hallmark, you know, squiggly line little people that are just you know, I don't know if I would call them adorable, but they're just kind of like little Doug Funnies. And it's like Red Bull gives you wings, and it doesn't quite make sense some of the times, but you're like, but he got fucking wings. So, you know, I haven't gotten wings. But Red Bull has been pushing the limits of, you know, what humans can smash themselves into ever since, you know, the beginning of putting all kinds of chemicals in beverages to get you high, you know? It's like, bro, if we had iPhone 16 Pro Maxes 256 with, you know, excellent HD camera recording abilities. In fact, this video was recorded entirely on an iPhone Pro Max 16. This is not professional equipment, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not. Thanks, Apple, for sponsoring the show. Tim Cook, friend of the show, long time. He's been trying to get me to come over to his house, you know, all this time, but I don't really go that way. I noticed that Tim Dillon had broken through. Maybe he's not the first one to do this, but he's the first one I heard ever do it. And I noticed for a while there, when he would do his advertisements, he would just, you know, he would be like, you know, he's in the middle of his comedy. He's like, and you know, Trump fucking did it, and he has all those, you know, pageantries and trafficking and everything. And then Macron's got his wife's a dude with a huge dick. And today's episode is brought to you by Blackout Coffee. Us here at the Tim Dillon Show, we really enjoy Blackout Coffee. It's the coffee that we go to because when I drink the coffee, it makes me feel good, you know what I mean? But no, okay, the other day he had this riff with, I think it's called Magic Mirror or something like that, but it's a digital picture frame, you know? Put your memories in there. And that's how he started off. It's like, everybody loves memories. Just think, you remember Pop? I can't remember how far I went in the other video, and I don't even know what I'm going to upload yet, so I'm just going to see where this goes. But you got to check this out. It had to be just maybe 2 weeks ago, and he's like, Pop, you remember Pop, right? And he would do like the voices of like this whole family that had this abusive grandfather named Pop, and the grandson's the only one that seems to think that he was a great guy. Everyone else is like, God, you know, wasn't he abusive to you, Mom? Like, I saw her push Mom, and he'd be like, no, you didn't. You're a liar. And he'd be like, you know, but he would bring in the current news into the advertisement. And this went on for, I mean, I noticed it had to be like 8 or 10 minutes of this advertisement that I don't think they knew that that's what they were going to get. I don't think they knew that they were going to get all this airtime for this, you know, I don't know, maybe he planned this out ahead of time, but to me it sounded as if it was just off the top of his head, bro. You know what I'm saying? So he goes into this whole pop thing and how he ties it into the news is, all of a sudden, the young the grandson who thinks nothing but good things, he's like, his grandmother's like, Pop, he was a pedophile and he ate babies. And, brought it all into the Trump and Epstein and all that. And I just thought that was so brilliant, man, because that's how you roll when you're Tim Dillon, bro. And his sponsors, literally, there are people in their boardroom meetings that are like, dude, do not go with Tim Dillon. He is, he's a loose cannon. He's you never know. He might say something weird that could taint the legacy of magic mirrors, And they're like, nah, dude, Tim Dillon, we're giving him 100% fucking latitude. And that is today's sponsor, bro. Latitude. Fucking damn it, man. You know what I fucking mean, man? Fucking, you guys are looking at the roof for a while. It's just pissing me off. It's because I got the charger plugged in. But, yeah, bro. Fucking Dillon. He totally fucking killed it, bro. And the point is that it's the exact opposite of what YouTube allows you to do. But he still does it on YouTube. Like, there's no way that, well, maybe I didn't say that quite right. But, YouTube is zero latitude. YouTube is like, this is how we do things, and if you break our community guidelines, you shall find yourself in a hole for the rest of your life, and no one will know who you are. And this company was smart enough. Like, kudos to people who are, giving sponsorships to Dillon, because this is what people want. People don't want your crappy advertisement that just sounds like a headache on a train that fell off a cliff down a chalkboard. They want to be entertained. They want something that's fresh and exciting and current with the the things that are in the news. Like, dude, that is brilliant. So there's my Tim Dillon, what do you call it when you're just like going too far about stuff? Anyway, that is the end of my channel. Thanks for everyone. I can't do it anymore. I'm too embarrassed. But so I'm just excited for him because I just think he worked on it. Because you see the progression. You can see how he at first was just not comfortable with these advertisements. I don't know if it's because he didn't really believe in the products, or if he just doesn't, it's just not who he is to like try to sell someone else's stuff. I don't know. And whatever it is fine, but I was really impressed with that. And how, what it's like when you're like with your favorite people in the world, and you just, somebody says something that is so funny that you are just dying. Your gut, it's from the foundation of your soul, this energy and this laughter. And there's been a few instances these past couple of weeks where I have felt that. Got it? And it's been with my main man, Coach Colin, friend of the show. He actually was the first one on the list because, what did he say? Oh no, I can't remember. But anyway, if you haven't heard of Coach Colin, he is basically, he's like this really muscular guy with a huge afro, and he wears headphones, but the headphones barely can fit because he has like a lot of head hair. And sometimes he wears a hat, and it's weird because you can't even like tell, but it's crazy, bro. And but he is a person who is just honest, and that is 100% like, when you're like playing Tekken and you're like, your guy has like level 7 strength, this is like level 10, and he doesn't, I don't know, I just like him. Something about him. and he's an anti-Semite. That's also a huge benefit in this world, because if you want to get ahead, you got to just first thing, job interview. Hey there, Mr. Collin. So you're applying for this executive position. I haven't had a chance to overlook your application, but let me go ahead and take a glance. Oh, huge anti-Semite, man. Well, unfortunately, at this company, that's frowned upon, sir. So, but Candace Owens, huge, and if it wasn't for the work, if it wasn't for YouTube, and again, this is straight up foundation of the core of my being. I will die on this. YouTube was the mechanism that allowed me to grow as a human being that I wasn't getting from school or from the world or from my friends or from anything else. I needed to have access to all the information and just digest it as I felt like I wanted to, and I learned about every single thing that I could even imagine from YouTube. And can you believe it? It wasn't even the current execs that run YouTube now. Can you believe it even made it? Listen to what these guys used to let you do. They used to let you pretty much post anything you want, say anything you want, and if something like that, certain people wouldn't want to be posted, they didn't have a number they could call to have things removed. Can you imagine posting something and it just stays there? That's crazy. It was almost like it was almost like a ledger for a time there. And it's amazing that was able to be a thing, because I just don't think there's a market for that in the world at all. People genuinely are drawn to inauthentic things that seem what do you call it, engineered, or fucking it's tampered with. You can't get the untampered with version, which is just great, because you could hurt yourself doing it. You know what I mean? All these people are dying to get by me, so I'll just let them get by me real quick. They're dying to. They're like, what is this guy doing? Shit. That's right, players. Got four-wheel drive. Come on, guys. Don't do this to me. Damn. Come on. You got it. Stop. Some ruts right there, buddy. So I don't typically drink energy drinks, or I was on a pretty good one there for a while, where I didn't have to eat any sugar at all for a long time, bro. And then somehow there was this guy Harvey I was hanging out with all the time, and this guy's a sugar freaking maniac, bro. And somehow, but I ended up buying 3 Red Bulls the other day at the truck stop, and oh my God, changed my life. I haven't drank them in so long. And these ones, for some reason, they don't have vodka in it. I don't know. I didn't know you could order it that way. So I just kind of discovered that this is something I like to do. Sometimes I'm, terrible at talking, and I just sound like a moron. And other times, I really can at least make myself feel like I'm getting my point across, and it's something that needs to be said. I don't know why yeah, well, I do know why. So, yeah, there is no journalism that's widely available that is journalism. That's not journalism, so I don't know why they call it that. Well, yeah, I do, because they want to pretend that it's journalism. But really, it's just being a secretary for someone who tells you what to say. So there's money in that, though. But if we aren't saying what needs to be said, then walls are closing in more and more. And you know, one thing I did want to say, and that I hope a lot of people hear, is that here's why we have the First Amendment. Ladies and gentlemen, I have not heard one other person ever say this, and I can't believe it, because it is the most obvious answer. Why do we have the First Amendment? You hear people say, well, you know, because I just defend your right to say how you feel, man. Man, fuck that, bro. Like, the reason we have the First Amendment is because if anything can become censored, then evil will fester. Like, they will choose what to censor, and it will be because they have something to hide under that subject that they are censoring. Like, do you not see that? Like, if anything at all can be censored, the reason we have the First Amendment is because if you cannot freely speak about whatever, then people will do evil things and get away with it. They get away with evil because people are not allowed to talk about it. And they always say it's for a different reason. Oh, you're an anti-Semite or whatever. No, the reason why we can't talk about Gaza is because they enjoy killing Gazans. And they want to steal the property, and they want to live there on a resort, and they want to, you know, look in the bathroom mirror and think about all the people they killed, you know, stuff like that. But they can't do that unless people aren't allowed to talk about it. If you talk about it, then that means everyone could possibly know. And then if everyone knew, because they were allowed to talk about it in actual reality, truth, no one would be in favor of it. It's hard to control the narrative of what people think if they are allowed to speak freely. But we have this pesky First Amendment, you know, and it's like, you know, thank God that you can buy a lot of judges and a lot of politicians and a lot of, you know, every other possible intersection where power meets the public. Because if it weren't for that money being spent and those positions being co-opted, the First Amendment would really just slay even the idea of going and just, you know what? Huh. So you're telling me that we have $100 billion in surveillance invested, and you know, a $9 billion data center underneath the ground, and we're watching and processing and doing everything with Larry Ellison and, you know, everybody else that's evil. But we didn't realize October 7th was just a complete surprise. And you know what? It happened in that one spot of Israel where it was like 6 hours away. I don't know what happened. And then we ended up shooting all our own people while they were burning in their cars from our missile fire, because, you know, we didn't want them to get captured by the already dead and dying freaking whatever, man. Just free speech yourself up the butt, you know. And but why does no one ever bring up the fact that if free speech doesn't exist, then people get away with things that are evil, right? What they say is, you know, and then guns. It's like, why do we have the Second Amendment? And it's like, oh, because people want to go hunting, and, you know, it's just, you know, you can protect yourself. Like, no, dude. The Second Amendment is entirely, the purpose of it is because your government is going to try to eventually take everything you have and turn you into Gaza. Oh, and that's the next subject. Fuck. Yeah, God damn it. Well, you're just not going to be able to see. You know, I'm sorry. But, So this ballroom that Trump has invested in under the whatever, there's a ballroom at the White House, I guess. Really, an underground ballroom, the same square footage as that data center that was put in Israel. And how much did the one in Israel cost? Oh, it's $9 billion. Okay, how much did this? Oh, 9. Really? The square footage the same? The price the same? And where's it going? Under the ballroom. That's weird. And you know, drive around. You got the flocks. You got cameras in places you don't even know they're in. You know, I mean, if any one of you could identify every camera that's looking at you right now, you'd be wrong, because there's still more. And but the only problem is, you know, there's not enough government employees. There's not enough money to pay enough government employees to sit there all day and watch everybody do everything until they do something wrong, and then they can feel good about it. So they need AI to do it all at the same time. They need a big electronic demon to decide who lives and dies. Who's going to be a problem in the future? Well, I know I probably will be. So, and I hope I don't have to get killed by some fucking drone or bomb or something, but, you know, I probably would see it coming at the last second, and I'd just be like, I would try to like punch it or something, because that's all I can do. Hopefully I'll be born into a better place. All our food sucks now. Every state and city you go to is the exact same 4 restaurants. What is this? You're really letting this happen. You can't drive legally without licenses and registrations and insurance, which is completely unconstitutional. But yet, everybody does it. Everybody pays federal taxes, even though they don't even know that in the definitions section of the federal tax code, it defines United States as District of Columbia only. Whenever the word, whenever United States is used in this section, it is referring to only the District of Columbia. Do you live in the District of Columbia? Oh, you don't? Well, then you don't have to pay federal taxes. Simple as that. But they've tried so many different ways to make it seem like you do. There's a lot of tax laws that aren't even laws. They haven't even been published in the law. Anyway, getting ahead of myself. Drive all night. Drive all day. Oh, last night was so fun, brother. They loaded me like it was. So the place I had a load already, right? And the place that they were taking, that I was going to, there was like a huge wreck in Maryland that backed up traffic for 3 or 4 hours. And so I show up there about noon, and I have to be at this next place. It's like in Suffolk, Virginia, which is like 20 miles away, by 6 p.m. at the latest. So my bosses are calling me like 1,000 times, like, what do you think? Are you getting unloaded yet? I'm like, dude, the place said that they are so full that they don't even know if they have the room to unload me, and they're backed up. There's like 6 guys in front of me. Anyway, long story short, it gets to be like 9 p.m. and I end up still going there. The place was open till 10. I don't know why they're saying 6. But what ended up happening, they loaded me with stuff to take to Vegas. They gave me the paperwork, and it's like, all right, see you later. But they forgot to unlock the, they have on their docks, like whenever you back in, when it's time for them to unload, they have this arm that grabs your bumper and it locks your truck to the dock, so you can't hurt them while they're trying to unload and shit. So that's happening, right? And so that happened. I mean, so it's 10:30 at night. They call me. They're like, "Yeah, we got your paperwork ready. You're good to go." I go and get the paperwork, hop in the truck, and then I realize, wait a minute, the red light's still on. My truck is still stuck to this fucking building, and these guys all left. And it's like my bosses were calling me all day because it's so important that I get this thing to Vegas without any delay, which is literally like 50 hours of straight driving. And so I lost all last night. Woke up this morning and realized, hey, you know what? I got some sleep last night. That felt pretty good. And you know what? Who cares? I can't change it. And it all worked out anyway. And I still get to go home. So I probably won't make quite as much money as I would have had that not happened. But, you know, you just got to take it. And I was pissed. I tried to drive away. Like I dismantled the device as much as I could. Pulled out like a kingpin and I removed like a cotter pin and a kingpin, thinking that it would kind of collapse the structure of the little mechanism, but it only collapsed half of it. The hook that hooks your bumper is just fully in place. So I'm like, all right, let's see if this thing can rip it off the wall. I told my boss, I said, hey, they left. I can't get a hold of anyone. I'm going to try to, I can just try to rip it off the wall if you want, if you really want me to be there. And they're like, yeah, I guess that's what you got to do. I'm like, all right, cool. So I locked all the lockers on the rear differential and I took off the traction control and and it would not even budge it, bro. Like a little light, a display came on the dash that said, careful, you're going to overheat the clutch. And I was being easy on it, but I was trying to get, I was being as easy on the pull, but yet trying to get the power out of it at the same time without like smoking the clutch. Nope, wouldn't happen. I was so pissed. Because, man, I could have been sleeping instead of trying to dismantle that stupid thing. Anyway, bro, I'll talk to you later.